All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome for our second edition of Money Matters. My name is Brian McNeill, and we are on the Empowerment Duos Network right now. And once again, we are blessed to have one of the most successful business people in this country. Mr. Alvin Curry is going to be here with us, and we're going to talk about money because money is the key to end all your woes. The day after Christmas edition. It's after Christmas. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas, and we're looking forward to what happens from this moment forth in your life for the rest of your life. What can you do starting now, going for the rest of your life that's going to help you for the rest of your life financially? After Christmas strategies, if you will. Welcome, Mr. Curry. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Brian, and all of Facebook. How are you doing today? Belated Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone got everything that they wanted for Christmas. I'm sure they didn't need a lot, but they had some wants.
How was your Christmas, sir?
We had an excellent Christmas. We did everything that we had planned to do. Many years ago, we made choices about how we were going to spend Christmas. And today, with all of our children and adults, we just all get together and kind of hang out together and have dinner and worship and thank God for another new year, another year seeing Christmas come in. Yes.
Amen. Amen. Well, I'm going to go right into it, and I'm going to talk to you first things first. I'm going to bring up some problems as I see it, and I want to see if you can help me with these problems, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right. The first problem I see is people that love their children so much and they love their families so much that they're willing to put their Christmas on credit cards and debit cards and to go into debt for Christmas time. They're willing to do that, and they enjoy the day, and then the day after they realize, oh my gosh, on top of all my other bills, now I'm in debt for Christmas holidays. What do I do now? What should they do? What are strategies? How do you recommend they deal with this? How can they rescue themselves? What can they do?
Well, Brian, that's a great question. And for my wife and I have three adult children now. In the early portion of the first two lives, because they're about 21 months apart, we used to do this every year. We would go out and we would start to buy things for them for Christmas as early as August to October, to August or September time frame, trying to avoid getting so much debt. But we would just buy all these gifts and have all these things all over the house. And so, number one, we decided about 30 years ago that we were going to stop with the exchanging of gifts, but we were going to celebrate Christmas, but we were going to celebrate Christ. So, number one, I know many people did it, so I have done it too. But how do you fix that is something we really need to explore today, because so many people now are going to look at their credit cards and they're going to look at their debit cards. They have absolutely no money left. They're going to start off the new year with a tremendous amount of new debt, because many times the credit card companies, what they have done is they've automatically extended people credit cards during the Christmas season. So even though people didn't have a lot of money, when they went to the store, the card went through and they started praising Jesus. And man, that thing went through. I didn't think it was. So that began to build the problem and make it worse and worse. So we want to get into some things today that I think we can do about that. And so as we progress in this process today, we want to try to help people figure out how not to have this happen next year, and what can we do over the next few months to get these bills paid down and get them turned around.
Amen. You mentioned two things there that I want to really hot piggyback on. One was the decision you made 30 years ago to not exchange gifts, but to celebrate Christmas. We're not going to exchange gifts. We're going to celebrate Christmas. We're going to celebrate God. I like that concept. Mm-hmm. Last week, you brought up the topic of income shifting. Mm-hmm. And you made a very strong point about how people that work a job can give themselves pay raises. And I would like to talk some more about this income shifting. And I think this is a good place to put it. How about you, sir?
I think it's great, because here's the thing, okay? Let's understand something other. To everyone that's listening today, and to everyone that will ever hear this, when we get a paycheck, when we go out and work, we're exchanging our time and our education. We're exchanging whatever we have. We're being leveraged to help someone build a business. We help someone build income for their families and for their grandchildren and so forth. Now, we have to think about our own family. Now, let's look at a couple of things here that I think is really crucial to that. Number one, I think one of the biggest problems that we have is they established this thing called credit. So now most people, the way they do credit in this country today, they do credit in a way that you can get pretty much anything you want on credit, and it gives us a false sense of security that we have it going on. If we just look at all debts are primarily based upon our gross income and not our net. Well, we only have net income when we come home. So if we make bills based on gross, we're going to always exceed how much money we actually have coming home.
I want people to get that point. Yes, sir.
So if you make your bills, and if you let the mortgage company, if you let the car dealership, if you let the credit card company tell you can afford something, because you have gross income, they look at your pay stub and they say you make X amount of dollars. We started out last week talking about a $75,000 household income. That's $6,250 a month. If I sit here and let them tell me I got $6,250 a month when I know full well 25 to 30% of that money is gone for taxes, I don't have that. I cannot make bills to pay on that. Now, if I get a lot of credit cards, I'm paying a smaller percentage on the money I spend every month, so it looks like I can afford that. And then, of course, every year I pay a little like principal down, and so by next Christmas, I'm gonna have the principal paid down, maybe $200 or $300, maybe $1,000. And so the credit card company is gonna allow me to get a up bump on my credit card. So now I may have $2,000 I can spend this year on Christmas. So now I got all this. I said, man, they did good. But your credit scores get so low because what happened is you're going to have your debt to credit balances is going to be high because you're putting so much on the credit card. What that's going to do, Brian, is that's going to cause all of the interest rates. So that many people need to go review right now what is the interest rates on the next statement they get on their credit card. Look and see. This is a step.
What a great strategy.
What is the interest rate? How much did they bump your interest rates to? Are you paying 30% on a credit card? Because now remember, if you put all this stuff on a credit card, every one of your credit card statements, I would suggest they go review them when they get their next statement and see all the Christmas stuff they put on there. What is the interest rate? Because if they have interest rates ranging above 15, 16, 20, 30%, which they could be, they need to refinance those cards. And the only way you can refinance them is you're going to have to get your credit in line. That's one of the things we do is teach people how to fix their credit. Now, once you get it in line, if you refinance it, that leaves more money in your budget to do what we call income shifting. Okay?
Now, I've been studying your company, and I'm happy to be a part of it. One of the things that Mr. June Collier, he one of your partners, he did a talk, and it was so important to me, and I want you to talk about it too. He felt like getting someone's credit, like you used the term, in line, getting their credit strengthened so that they can refinance this. And he made what I felt was a bold statement. Okay, and maybe it is bold, maybe it isn't, but I'm gonna just say it to you, and you tell me how you feel about it. He was comparing my econ system versus these systems where you pay an attorney $1,000 to repair your credit. He was comparing the smart credit repair system to that. And he was talking about how their programs can sometimes take a year or 2 years, whereas if you follow our system, within 3 months' time, you can position yourself to strengthen to get lower interest rates. Is that close? Is that bold? Is that crazy thought?
Well, what we do that's different than anyone else also in that I've observed, at least, again, I don't know everyone, but I've looked at some of the major companies out there, is number one, we have a do-it-yourself program, so you can work it at your own pace. We believe here at MyEcon that everyone should learn to do it themselves. See, we shouldn't outsource our finances. I want them to take this in consideration. Outsourcing your finances, that is giving someone your finances and saying, get my credit score up. They will do that. Generally, that's going to cost you between $450 and $1,000 per adult person. Now, they get your credit score up, and what statistics show is within 5 years, a vast majority of those people, I think that number was somewhere around 80% of the people who used that method had poor credit scores again because they
Wow.
didn't understand what
That makes
caused
sense,
them
though.
to have poor
Mm-hmm.
credit. Then someone just fixed it for them. They was able to go get the house they were trying to get because they wanted their credit scores fixed because they were trying to get new credit. They weren't trying to maintain and build a life. They were saying, I want to buy me a house right now. I want to buy a car. I need to get my credit scores up. I want to get this credit card. So once they got the credit up, then they have to go back to those people again 3 to 5 years later to get the credit scores redone. Now, I think Ms. Collier is absolutely correct. That is a bad position to be in because you don't know what caused you to have bad credit and you don't know how it got repaired. So you don't know what to do to keep it there. So we do just different at MyEcon. We're going to teach you those things. And another thing we do at MyEcon that I don't know if any other company do is we're going to suggest to you ways to put more income into your household, which is another step of our income shifting because in America today, we have 47% of the people in this country pay no federal income taxes. We'll talk a little bit more about this a little later, but income taxes take a huge chunk out of most people's checks, somewhere between at least 15% and maybe as much as 30% of your money go to one form of taxes or another. With that being said, now that person is going to struggle because they have maybe 20-25% going of their money going to taxes, another 20-25% of their money going to interest. What you think about that? 50% of the money you're spending on a monthly basis is going to pay for something that you have nothing to do with. You have no control over what happened to your tax dollars, and the interest is not buying you anything.
Man, the show is going by so fast, and there's a lot more I want to talk about. So I'm gonna try, but I need for you to speak a little bit more about what you just said about what about for the person that's listening to this broadcast here, and who just not sure if they can do it. They're just not sure if they can learn to repair their credit. They're not sure they can learn to shift their income because you often speak so confidently and passionately about the average person can do this. They can shift their income. They can give themselves a pay raise. Why do you feel so strongly about this? And what do you say to the person who's not sure they can do it?
Well, okay, good. That's a great question. Okay, Brian. First and foremost is my background. I worked labor all of my life before I got into the financial service industry in the mid 80s. I got involved in the financial service industry, got licensed in 1987. I started a little bit late 86, but by the time I got licensed, it was 87. I have worked this now, but having worked this across the country, Brian, from some of the places like from California to New York, but also I've hit some places like Oregon and Washington State. I've hit some places like Nevada. I've hit places in the South. I've hit a lot of different states and had a lot of different demographics that I've talked to. And where people put forth any effort, they found it was really simple. Once they looked at it, they're like, you mean this is really all we have to do? Because see, we were never taught to read this. And I oftentimes compare it, Brian, to men and even women today. I see a lot of women. I just haven't spent a lot of time in this in the last 30 years. But men can tell you all kind of statistics about sports. I was in a Applebee's about a month ago, and I was listening to a conversation about 5 or 6 men sitting around the bar, and they were talking about statistics that happened in sports 40 years ago. They were talking about things that I remember, because 40 years ago, I was watching a lot of sports. But the last 30 years, I have not watched a lot of sports. If they can learn that, they can surely learn how to correct their credit by just filling out a letter and sending it in. They can surely learn how to pay down debt in a system that's online. Our system is online. Our system is going to tell you what bills you need to pay first, how to balance all these things out. The system is automated. And in the world of technology today, anybody that can do a little technology can make it work for them. So I'm absolutely confident after watching this 30 years and seeing people who have done it from all walks of life, that it is possible that if anyone chooses to do a little things that we asked them, they can make it work for them as well today.
All right, again, this is Money Matters, and we're with Mr. Alvin Curry, the co-founder, of MyEcon. Okay, my name is still Brian McNeill. Now, there might be some, I want you guys to write down a website right now, or copy a website right now. The website is income365forlife.com. Income365forlife.com. The reason why I want you to have that is there may be someone that's watching this recording here, and at the 15-minute mark, they already know, ooh, I need to be with you guys. I want to raise my hand. I need to learn what you know. I want to be a part of this amazing thing. If they're raising their hand right now, Mr. Curry, if they were in front of you, they're saying, you know what? I already heard enough. I want to be involved. What do I have to do? What would you tell them?
Okay, that's very simple, Brian. Okay, we have again, our program is about educating you on finances. So, and you're going to get a lot of people. I've had a lot of people tell me this is Alvin, you guys don't teach nothing that I can't find on the internet free. And I would agree with them. We really don't. But here's the problem. If they knew it was free, if they knew how to do it, they would already be doing it. So I would say that person need to get with me, or in this case, it could be you and Lisa, or it could be some other Maicon associate who have invited them to hear this program and then enroll in our business with us. And now we have an ongoing training and support that's going to help them. Because what I find is, while most colleges that I've looked at across this country have a degree program online, thousands of people still continue to pay universities up to $100,000 to get a college degree. So it's something different about going and being in a live environment. So if a person enroll with us and be a part of our company, yes, the information can be found in other sources now because we're online. You can find a lot of videos about me online, but still, that's not the same thing as being able to pick the phone up and call me and talk to me and spend hours at a time getting to know me and me working with you personally in your life.
Money matters. Again, we talked about the after Christmas strategies. Now, Mr. Curry has been very generous with his information on this broadcast here. He talked about before Christmas strategies, things to keep you from feeling the guilty stuff, the decision he made with his family. We're not exchanging gifts, but we are going to celebrate this time. He talked about to look at your interest rate on your very next credit card statements so you can determine what your interest rate is, and you to take steps starting now to restore your credit so that you can get better interest rates. That saves you some money right away. You talked about, I want to go back to income shifting a little bit more if we can, sir.
Let's do it.
Okay, look, and I know you've done it already. Okay, but I just want to spell it out a little bit more, what it is and the process of it. We talked a little bit before about the W-2, and if you have, the W-4, and if you have a home-based business, what that can do for you and all that. If you could spend a few moments spelling that out, thank you.
All right, good. Let's do it. Okay, let's take. This is a great time to have this conversation because next week we start 2019, and of course now that's going to be taxes going to be on everybody's mind. But here's the dilemma. When you go to your tax preparer this year, you're going to find that you're going to have $12,000 if you're single. That means a person single with no children, which could be my son. He works at an Applebee's and supervisor in the kitchen, make about $30,000 a year. Well, he's going to get $12,000 tax deduction, and he's going to pay taxes on $18,000. That's going to cost him about $4,000 that he doesn't have. Now, he shouldn't, but it's going to cost him that. Okay, if you're a person that's a head of household, you're going to get $18,000. So if you were making $36,000 a year as a single mother with children, you would get an $18,000 deduction. You would pay taxes again on about $18,000 in this example. A married couple, all they did is double the single. They gave them $24,000. So now anything over $24,000 in income. So if you made $60,000 in income, and you subtract $24,000 from that, you're going to be at about $36,000 of income there, and stuff. So, $26,000 income that you're going to pay taxes on there.
Taxable income.
Think about that for a moment. Just think about that for a moment as we look at this and say, okay, based on what income I have, I'm going to pay taxes. Well, they gave tax breaks to the wealthy, or not even to the wealthy, but they did to the big businesses. But here's the thing. They gave hundreds of tax breaks to a small business owners. So if a person come in business with us, we'll show them how to leverage their everyday expenses to tax deductible expenses. Now that'll cut down their dollars that they pay in taxes. So if a person could get $20,000 in tax deductible business expenses, legal tax deduction business expenses, if they're in a 10% tax bracket, that would save them $2,000 a year. If they're in a 20% tax bracket, that would save them $4,000. If they're in a 30% tax bracket, that would save them $6,000. Now we take that money back into the house.
Hold on. I'm hoping everyone is with me. Everyone is with Mr. Curry here. He is really going in and breaking it down for you. I hope you're still with us right now. I'm just giving him a 10-second commercial break. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So now we got an option here. Okay, if you can make $2,000 at 10%, $4,000 at 20%, and $6,000 if you're in the 30% tax bracket. If you now adjust your W-4, you can have that money in your paycheck in 2 weeks. Now, we call income shifting. Let's talk about what income shifting is. We took the tax dollars back, shift them, pay down that high interest debt you made at Christmas. Wipe that credit card out in 3 or 4 months. Now you save not only the 30% interest you were paying, but now you wipe that out and you have that freed up now ability to take that and go do something else with. So by getting the tax out.
Now, did y'all hear what he just said? He was saying if you was to do income shifting, by being smart with your withholdings and deductions and put more money in your bank account, more money in your check, you can knock out that debt that you created during this holiday. Is that right, Mr. Curry?
In 3 to 4 months, and most people probably spent, let's say they spent $1,500 in debt. Well, if they were to go out and do income shifting with their taxes, get these tax deductions, they could turn that into paying off the debt in the first 90 days to no more than 120. Now,
and that's the money they already have.
And so now, think about, now I want to get a good picture of this, Brian. Okay, on $1,000, if you have a 30% credit card, if you let that lay out there for a year, you pay $300 on every $1,000 extra. But if you paid that off, you save that $300. That's income shifting. You shifting the money to do other things. And then once we get to this, we're going to talk about this down the road, is build what we call generational wealth. The church calls it wealth transfer. Transferring the wealth back into your household and building for your family to have some money. Because if you don't build now, Brian, who's going to build it for you?
Man, I agree. And I'm excited about what you just laid out. So this is shaping out, this broadcast here has been shaping out of what to do with shifting your income more. I think the next broadcast, we're going to talk mostly about earning money with the money that you've already shifted. But I still am enjoying this because we're not adding any income, but we're doing much, much more with the income we already have with just a strategy, with just learning what to do, with learning how to pay down the credit card, strengthen your credit. This is exciting because where do most people get this education? Where do most people learn this stuff?
Well, exactly. Here's why I would say most people learn it. They learn it from their parents. And if I look at my parents, and I went all the way back,
parents don't know.
Because we could go back in our family, because we've done generational trees like most families. Everybody in my family was broke. So now why would I listen to them on how money worked? Nobody in the teachers I had, all the teachers I had, they never even approached the conversation. So where I learned this at is I was blessed to go to college, and I took accounting. I started learning some in accounting, and I was blessed to meet my business partner, and we got involved in the financial service industry. And because God blessed us to be good, some of those business owners kind of let us, if you will, up close and personal to them, and they started talking about certain things. Then I changed who I was. I quit watching sports, and I started reading more of the Wall Street Journal. I started reading Money Magazine, started reading Forbes Magazine. I started reading different things to put different stuff in me. And so I now started to study all of these processes of, okay, I want to know something different. And back then, of course, we didn't have the World Wide Web, so I had to learn all of these things on myself. And so God gave my partner, Ivy Stokes, this vision when he was in college to build this business and an institution that would astound the world. We're going to create 1 million millionaires in the next 10 years. So I invite every one of you out there to join this party with us. Come to Income365 FORLife.com And when you come, you'll get an opportunity to get with me live. I'll pick some time, and Brian and I and Lisa will reach out to you. And what we'll do is we'll set up a time to talk to you live in a live webinar schedule. So today is a good day. Christmas is gone. Now we got to deal with the realities of today. The stores made their money, but how did you do this wonderful Christmas season? Did you spend all of yours and make everybody else happy? Or will you make yourself and your family happy? Let me say this, Brian, before we have time to get off here. Before we get off.
Okay.
Let's not fool ourselves. If we got to wait for a New Year resolution, we're not going to do nothing. See, we've been making resolutions every year. Guys, New Year resolutions does not work. You're going to have to decide a decision. I am going to change. And this is a great time to find out what change is. So if you'll contact me, we'll contact you back within the next 24 hours and arrange a time to talk to you live. All you need to do is go to income365 for FOR life.com. And when you do, we'll arrange a time to talk to you this week so that you don't go into to 2019 hanging out there thinking, what should I do? We'll give you some
we got 4 minutes left on the show. My wife just showed me the scroll of all the people that's on right now. We have a lot of people on, more than I can see right now. So if there's a great question that you have, we're only going to have time for one, maybe. If you got a great question, bring it up now. I want to say thank you, Mr. Curry. You have always been so generous and so free and so helpful with your time. Thank you for everyone that's been on this broadcast. We're building something here. We're building something here. Last with Mr. Curry. Good afternoon, Arthur Lynette. How you doing? Last week, Mr. Curry, laid the groundwork. Thank you, our precious. She said good stuff and is feeding her spirit. You've been feeding her spirit today, Mr. Curry.
Well, that's indeed. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. Now, let me be really careful on this really quickly, because we go to church and we get our spirit fed. We must now say, what should we do next? If we believe what we learned at church, this ain't no accident. God don't do accidents and lucky. This is your answer. It's not the time to pray more. It's not the time to seek more. This is the time now to get these answers you've been looking for, because God sent you here. If you believe what you've been saying, he sent you here, and this is the answer.
I am encouraging you strongly. Go to Income365 FOR life.com. Learn some stuff there. Get involved there. Leave your information there. Plug into that site right now. This is where we can continue this. The 2 boats in the helicopter. Lord, send me some healing. I sent you 2 boats in the helicopter. Okay, I sent you your help. You just got to learn to take it. What do I do now after Christmas? I got you in line with Mr. Curry. Listen to what he had to say, and he gave you a place to go. Now you got a solution. We just said it. You got a solution. I'm excited about this, and I'm looking forward to next Wednesday as well. Next Wednesday, we're going to talk about earning more money. Right?
We're going to take it up. We're going to get us some options next week that's going to really solve this problem. Anytime you got a crisis, you got to do 2 things. You got to cut some expenses, and you got to increase some income. So let's talk income.
That's Benjamin Franklin's quote, actually. Benjamin Franklin said, the fastest way to get rich is to live below your means and augment your income. That's what Ben Franklin says. Don't live high up here. Live below what you can afford and earn more money. That's what he said. Okay. What you trying to say? Okay, cool. Lisa's moving, scurrying around. I think she's trying to tell me something. But we only got 1 minute left to go on this show. Thank you, sir. Do you want to say anything else in closing?
Well, I want to say this. I want to thank everybody for being here on the show, and join us next week. But go out to Income365 for life.
That's right.
And let's get started now. Let's start a conversation. And I promise you, the next 24 hours between myself and Brian and Lisa, we will contact you personally. You'll get an email back and forth, but we'll contact you personally and set up a time to talk to you live. Great day to you. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you all. This has been Money Matters with our special guest, Mr. Alvin Curry. We come to you each Wednesday at noon. We're going to look forward to seeing you back here next Wednesday at noon. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
All right.